evening. It's Liz Rossell with Sea Level Social, and I am here with another Mastermind meetup. We are doing an entire series for the SNA 2023 election. And we're kicking off tonight and tomorrow. We have our vice presidential candidates. So we're really excited to speak to both of them. As you all know, you've probably seen these before. Just comment with your questions for our candidates. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Stephanie, thank you so much for being with us. And can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your district?
Yes, thank you so much for having me tonight. This is going to be fun. I'm from Enterprise, Alabama. I work for Enterprise City Schools. We have 9 schools, an enrollment of close to 7,000, and our free and reduced percentages range around 52%.
Okay. Well, I already see that Dan Elnor is watching. So you're going to get a really thought provoking question from Dan. No pressure. But no pressure, Dan, I mean. So I'm going to run through the questions that I've asked all of our candidates. But if you're watching, please comment. This is your chance to get to know the candidates before Election Day, which is Wednesday. And hey, we've got Mike Burke watching. Hi, Mike. So, Stephanie, well, I guess my first question is what position are you running for? But I guess I already said that. So let me tack on what led you to this point today to say I want to run for a national position, but not just any national position, like vice president.
Well, I think it's been a long time coming back. I don't know. When I first became a child nutrition director, I did not know what SNA was. I had never heard of it, didn't know what it was about. It wasn't until our state director one day told us, if you're not a member of the association, you better join now because we had a big state issue taking place. So I signed up, didn't know what it was about. So rock along a couple of years, I got to go to the Future Leaders program, and I fell in love with it. That is the most amazing program that SNA has. They have a lot of amazing programs, but that's probably the one where I'm like, okay, I want to teach this program because I liked it so much. And the only way you could teach it is to be a past president. Now, I'm not sure if that's how it is today. So I thought, okay, that I've always gone back to that program because I just think it's really cool and like a great way to get new leaders involved. So I was my state president, ran through the ranks in Alabama, which was tons of fun. Then I ran for at-large director position on the national board, and it just is. I just once you get it in your blood, I think it's just always there, and it's just a lot of fun. And here I am.
Awesome. I love it. Well, we actually have Emma Ann Hallman from Haleyville joining us too, watching. So one of your fellow Alabama directors. Anybody has any I know, right? She's great. Well, there's a lot of fun things happening at the Alabama conference that I happen to be in the know of because of Emma Ann. It's going to be amazing. Alrighty, so I'm going to run down my list. I've asked all of our candidates. As I was preparing for this, I see a lot of credentials, a lot of positions held. I mean, obviously, you already mentioned you've gone through the Future Leaders Program and Alabama president. Out of all of those roles that you've served in school nutrition, what's one that you're most proud of?
There's not just one. There's so many that I can think back that just brings smiles to my face or like, wow, we did that. I loved planning our state conference as president elect. When I was president elect in Alabama, we did not have an executive director. So you had to plan the entire conference from the education sessions to planning the food to entertainment to the whole gamut, which is a 2-day conference. So that was a huge learning experience. So, when you get to the national level, it's a whole new respect of what they have to do to plan a conference because ours is a small conference compared to the national levels, of course. So I loved that journey. That was and president of Alabama was just a lot of fun. Being on the Southeast representative on the public policy committee was amazing. I learned a ton. I mean, Kathy Schuhart and her team, I just can't speak enough volumes of what they do for us and what the membership and advocating does for us. It was a huge learning experience for me, and I think I grew a lot during that position. And then, of course, secretary treasurer. And I've just so many things I've done. I've loved it all, and it's just been a lot of fun and a great journey. So I'm sorry, I could go on and on and on.
You're right about Kathy and the whole and all the PPNL. Like once you go to LAC, you just have this whole appreciation of like how much is happening back there that most members have no clue what she and her
I
team.
did not. I had no idea. And, even when I was on my state committee, I was on the PPL committee in my state. I was clueless from the state to the national. It's so different and there's so much. So,
Yeah.
if you're not on the PPL committee and haven't been on it, I highly recommend being on your state committee or national because it's amazing.
And I believe it was talking to, I think it was Jessica Gould. Or I'm sorry if it wasn't, but we were talking earlier in one of these meetups, and she said, I was PPNL committee, I knew nothing. And that's right. Like SNA is there to like help you learn
Mhm,
so you don't have to know all this legislative stuff to do that. So
mhm.
as promised, I knew Dan would come in with a good question. He always does. So if you could thank one person in your past leadership journey, who would it be and why? I love that question, Dan.
Oh, I have so many people. I can't think of just one.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put the music starting to get you off the stage if your thank you speech goes too long, right?
I know, right? I have to go back and think of my superintendent that first encouraged me and pushed me to jump into leadership. I really would have her to thank because if it was not for her support, I would never have been able to do any of the leadership roles I have taken, whether it been state or national for sure. So I definitely have to thank Dr. Beverly McAnulty because she was the first one that said, go do it, spread your wings and fly. I want to see you represent us. So it was great. So I would thank her for sure. And
Mhm.
on the national journey and state journey, honestly, Dan, I'd be here all day. I can't do it. I
Right?
want to see somebody else.
You're right, though. That's what SNA is all about. It's
Long list of people, all the past presidents on the national level, all the state presidents. I mean, all the people that have brought me up and raised me. And I think about the lady too. That's basically become my second mom. When I started in school nutrition, I went to her for a job, and she would not hire me because she's like, "You'll just stay with me a minute and leave." So she let me volunteer for her for that summer, which is basically how I got my foot started in the door. And her name is Anita Motley. She pretty much raised me in child nutrition and then become a second mom. So, if it
yeah.
wasn't for her, I would not be where I'm at today because I would have never stepped foot in child nutrition. So tons. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
just can't.
I'm feeling
Yeah.
I understand because you're probably like, if I thank a couple people, I'm gonna forget somebody,
I
and then
know.
I'm
So
in
I'm
trouble.
thinking if I start with the people that got me, just started my foot in the door and gave me an opportunity to learn to work and learn the position, I'll start there.
Love that, love that. So what, project or accomplishment are you most proud of in your career? And you kind of touched on that already, talking about, when you were chairing the conference and such. So is there anything else that sticks out that you haven't mentioned already?
Well, back I think it was 2010, 2011, the U.S. Healthier uh, U.S. challenged the Gold Award of Distinction. We thought we would never, ever in a million years accomplish that award, and we did. And a lot of our staff was able to go to D.C. and go to the White House, the reception there, and that's something I think I will always remember. Being able to take a principal, we had two staff members, myself. That was just really a cool experience, and I know for those of you that worked on that project, it was not easy, and it did not happen overnight. A lot of blood tears were shed through that project. And then another fun project that I loved was a couple years ago before I changed district. I was in my home district where I grew up, and we were able to renovate the high school cafeteria that I went to school in. My daddy went to school in, and my granddaddy laid blocks for that cafeteria. So it was just really kind of cool to take the cafeteria that had been the same for 100 years to a nice, newly hip, up, fun, new renovated cafeteria setting for those students. So that's something kind of fun too.
I
So
love that. There's like emotional ties to the
yeah,
remodel as well. That's really
yeah,
cool.
it was fun.
Um,
It was so fun.
I mean, yeah, who wouldn't like to get back to their high school cafeteria and right?
I mean, it looked the same. That's the bad part. I mean, it never changed throughout the years. Maybe a fresh coat of white paint, but
Right.
it really needed a facelift, and we were able to give it a facelift. So it was fun.
That's awesome. I only have 2 questions left for Stephanie, so if you have any questions, please comment with them. We're making great time. We like to wrap up in about 15 or 5 minutes. So, if you have any questions, get those in now. Um, But one thing, as we've been doing these mastermind meetups, we like for this to be like a fun, casual way to get to meet the candidates. So the answers to this question so far has been everything from silly to professional. So do what you will with it. But what is something you'd like SNA members to know about you?
I'm very passionate. I'm
Mhm.
very determined. Those are kind of some of my personality traits. Something fun. Side note: I have two little girls. I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. So I'm not a grandma. I'm a mom. A lot of people ask me if I'm a grandma. No, I'm not yet. I just was late in life getting started. So I
Mhm.
stay busy with my little girls. My husband is a principal at a local district, and so I'm constantly educating him in school nutrition. And he also wrote his dissertation on breakfast in the classroom. So we have a love for school nutrition in our family and education. And my girls both eat school lunch. I'm not packing a lunchbox, so that's something fun. And something else, I love all things Disney. Just send me to Disney World in my happy place.
I know. See, yep. I know. I was looking at what I was gonna wear tonight, and I was like, "Don't wear the Disney shirt." I thought about it though.
I love
um,
Disney. So fun.
The last question I have is, if elected, again, voting starts Wednesday, everybody, and Stephanie is running for vice president. If elected at the end of your term, what do you hope to accomplish that will make people say, "I'm so glad I voted for Stephanie"?
Well, I would love for us to have plenty of staff, people coming into our programs, knowing about the programs coming out of college, culinary school, whatever it may be, coming out of high school. They know that what school nutrition is all about. I would love for all of our members to feel comfortable in advocating for our programs. I'm just a huge fan of the advocacy because we would not be where we're at today if it wasn't for advocacy. So all members need to feel comfortable in telling their stories, sharing their stories, inviting their legislators to come for breakfast or lunch. And sometimes that can be intimidating. So I would love to see all members feel comfortable. And if we tell our stories, we're going to have people come into our programs and want to work with us and know about it. I know when I was in college, I never knew about school nutrition. It was like a hidden secret. And that kind of, I didn't know about SNA, even though I was a director for several years. So I think that kind of needs to be reversed. People need to know about school nutrition programs, what they're about, that there are jobs. We definitely need people to work in our programs. So I just think there's a lot of advocacy work we will always have to continue to do. And I would love for everybody just to feel very comfortable and confident in advocating their programs.
I love that. Thank you. I was looking, we have mastermind meetups coming up, everybody. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Paula DeLuca, who's also running for vice president. On Saturday, just added today, we have Erin Wiley, who is one of the 8 candidates running for an at-large director position. And then Monday, we have Susan Maffei, who's also running for an at-large director position. So we've got you Friday, Saturday, Monday with more mastermind meetups. I hope you all have enjoyed this. If you, even after the fact, you can always comment with questions for our candidates. I'll make sure they get them and we can get those answered for you. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time and giving everyone a chance to get to know you a little bit better here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right.